What's white and black and red all over? Books. Today we are stopping by East City Bookshop to tell you all about books here on Capitol Hill. Hi, welcome back to another Coffee with Coleman, where we love to discuss Washington, D.C., business, real estate, all that good stuff. My name is John Coleman, and I'm a real estate agent here on Capitol Hill with the Jason Martin Group. We're here at East City Bookshop, and we're actually going to meet with Laurie, who's the owner, and I'm super excited for all of you to get to know her. So let's go inside. So we're here with Laurie from East City Bookshop. Thank you so much for having us here today.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. I mean, with the amount of money that my wife spends in this store, I think it's finally about time that we meet each other. So we just kind of want to walk through, ask you a few questions, starting off with, what made you open a bookstore?
Basically, I opened it because I was annoyed about having to drive across town for a bookstore.
That makes sense.
In my neighborhood.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think the fact that I didn't know, I knew a lot by that point, but I didn't know everything about it probably helped me just do it. Because sometimes people I meet who've worked in bookstores for a long time, they know enough about it that they are more hesitant. So, because it's a lot of hard work and it's not very big profit margins, but it is definitely the most fun job that I've ever had. This space is I will say, it's a very odd space. It's just as far as it's not at ground level, which is a big no-no for retail. It's below ground level. It's on 2 floors. It's got a lot of little difficult to work with little jigs and jags, and most of it's in a basement. But it had been on the market for a while, and it was actually way more space than I was looking for. So the nice thing about that has been that we've expanded since we opened. We've expanded our kids section, we've expanded our, like cooking and art books, but we've been able to just kind of expand into the space that was already there that we were using purely as event space. So now we kind of move some of the shelves out of the way during events. And you talked a little bit about the event space. What kind of events are you hosting in there? We have lots of author events. So, authors who have a new book coming out, who go on tour, will come and talk about their books. We do that an average of 2 or 3 times a week. We have 14 store book clubs of all kinds.
Wow.
A few for kids and like 3 for kids, and then the rest are for adults. So our neighborhood loves a good book club. And then we also do larger author events with, better, more well-known authors in spaces off-site. So,
okay.
Yeah, like in Miracle Theater on 8th Street. We've done some across the street at 700 Penn. There's a nice space in the yard there.
And sometimes you'll even let cool real estate agents come and host first-time home buyer sessions.
Yes, that is so I guess sort of the third category is we do have some events that we rent the space when we can, and other groups we try to stick with kind of neighborhood-oriented groups can use the space as well, because space is often at a premium around here. We take pictures of every dog that comes in, and we print it out and put it up on the wall. We've had to expand into our auxiliary dog wall now. Our neighborhood loves their dogs, and we also love their dogs.
They definitely love their dogs.
Yeah, so that's very nice.
And how many staff members do you have at this point?
Right now we have about, including full-time and part-time, we have 22 people.
Wow.
Staff, yeah. And so, some people are, might just work 10, 15 hours a week, but it's a lot of people. It's probably 10 people full-time equivalent. Yeah. People love books here in DC. That's another thing that's great about owning a bookstore. is that people love to read and they love to talk about books and they want to hear what our ideas are and what we're excited about. So it's a great place to be in this business.
Is it a pretty hard city to figure out which books you should be ordering?
Well, luckily I have a brilliant book buyer, actually a brilliant book buyer for adults and for children. I think we get, of course, a lot of people who have just heard about this book on NPR, might be a little stereotypical, but or read the review in the New York Times or in the Washington Post, and so those are, those are pretty safe bets. And then we'll sometimes get something that's a little more specific to the neighborhood, or obviously if it's an author who lives somewhere nearby, or it's, we don't sell more political books than anything, but we know that if something happening down the street, then people are going to be interested. But we have a monthly subscription program. We have one for adults called Emily's Picks. Emily is our book buyer for adult books, and she is just amazing, and she has quite a lot of fans of whatever is the thing that she thinks people should be reading. So she started that one with a monthly pick of a new release, and we send it out. People give them for gifts or they get them for themselves. We actually have a few of them who just live in the neighborhood and they just come and pick them up, but they still do the monthly subscription, and we put it in a nice little box with all our nice cute stuff and everything. And then we have a board book subscription box, so that's popular with grandparents who want to maybe live farther away from their grandkids and they want to be reminded every month. And a picture book subscription, the same thing. And then one thing we have that's a little different is a greeting card subscription service, 3 cards a month. And we did that because when we started out, we thought, it would be really fun to highlight kind of local makers, and we try to do that whenever possible. So one thing that in cities, I think, people who make things tend to do letterpress cards a lot, and because you don't have to have a huge space to do that. So there are tons of really great cards available. So we started carrying them, started with a small selection, and they just sold like crazy. So we now have this great selection of hilarious cards that are really nice. Like the card itself is almost a gift. And since they were so popular, we decided just to try a subscription service for those. So that seems to be going well.
Well, Laurie, thank you so much for letting us come in, pick your brain. If you're around the hill and you want to check out a fantastic bookstore, come on over here. Easy to get to, and there's plenty of parking all around. I always find parking easy. And you got tons of restaurants and everything around here too. So grab a book, grab a coffee, come have some fun, come have some of that beer and wine if you're gonna be a part of the book club.
Exactly.
And most importantly, just come say hi to a neighbor.